Hey my friends, Dwayne Klassen here. Welcome to another edition of your Mojo Minute. Today we are talking about the 7 red flags that you're in a toxic relationship. Let's go. Hey my friends, Dwayne Klassen here, the coach for remarkable men and guys. We are talking about the 7 red flags of a toxic relationship. Yeah, so whether you are in a relationship or you're just dating, these 7 tips could really save you a lot of trouble and perhaps help you to heal what might be going on in the relationship or save you a lot of hurt down the road as well. So here are the 7 red flags. So the first one is that the toxic energy shows up with ex issues. Yeah, they can't seem to get over their ex. And it might not be that they're pining for them, but they just hate them. They can't stand them. Or you notice that they're trolling them. Yeah, you know, they're wondering what they're up to, what they're doing on social media. Maybe it's the emails. They're on their phone. Whatever it is. It might be that there's an energy there, a cord that's still attached. And for a lot of people, they can't get over their ex for whatever reason. And it's incumbent upon you to either assist or wonder where you're at. You know, what's the priority here? Is it dealing with the ex or is it our relationship? Don't make it about you. Make it about the relationship. Because for a lot of people, if the ex is their main focus or part of their focus, you gotta let that go. Now, there are many individuals that say, "Oh, we're just friends now. He's a good person," and that may be all well and good, but there has to be an understanding that, you know, how much time are they spending together? Is the relationship where there's children involved? And if so, then yeah, that's dad or that's mom. It is what it is. So you gotta work with that. And this is gonna come back on you about how solid you are as a man, how solid you are with your own confidence and your ability to navigate through this. Because if you're insecure around this, it's gonna show up in a lot of nasty ways, and you don't want that. So you got to be solid in who you are and have a conversation around the ex and how much of an issue is this going to be, not just for her, but for you. Yeah, because if you're jealous and your self-esteem is being questioned on a regular basis, it's going to be a real issue. So that's red flag number 1, is that the ex is still part of the equation, good, bad, or ugly. Red flag number 2, lying. Yeah, there's a lot of half-truths that are going on. You remember when you were a little guy that the first time that you shared a lie, the first time that you perhaps even got away with it as you thought you did. But in most cases, especially if you were lying to someone older, your parents perhaps, you weren't getting away with anything. You just thought you did. And sometimes there are bold-faced lies where you did this. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't do that. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. And it might have been getting into the ice cream. And you're saying it's not you, but you've got ice cream all over your mouth. Busted. Now, fast forward, we're into our adulthood. Lying still can be a very big part of a relationship. It very much can be, especially if you are realizing that you're not grounded in this connection. And the lying might be to protect, the lying might be to avoid, but if you're catching your beloved in a bold-faced lie, that's a red flag, because it's just the beginning of something much, much bigger. And there could be some narcissism attached to that, or the beginnings of, and really get clear about what that looks like for you. And what is your threshold of acceptance? What is your ability to let it slide or let it go. That becomes a trust issue, that someone lied and they're not integral with their word to you. So you've got to really dig in with your values and boundaries. How much are you willing to accept and have that person be in your life? It might be one red flag, maybe two. Third one, you really got to call it. So that's red flag number 2, is lying or not being in their truth. Third one, stalking, or whether it's physically or online. Now, if she or you are doing this, and I want you to be really honest with this, are you checking out what she's doing online every day? Are you wondering what she's doing with her friends, what her Instagram or her Facebook posts or whatever feed that she's on? Are you constantly wanting to check what that is? Maybe you followed her. Maybe she's followed you. Whatever that is, there's a trust issue going on, and that needs to be addressed right away. And that's usually an internal program that's running, and it's not new. Whether it's you or her or the previous relationships, it's not new. This is not a pattern that all of a sudden showed up because of that individual or because of you. No. This is typically a lifelong challenge that they've gone through. And they need to know where you're at on a regular basis, because their self-worth is tied to the relationship. And this could be a very slippery slope. So if you are suspecting that they are stalking you online or in person, or maybe you're doing that, you really got to check in with yourself. Why are you doing that? Now, what is going on with you? You got to be in a situation, and this is what a real remarkable man does, and being a champion to women, is that they allow them to have their life. And this is what you work on early on, that it's important that they have their own world, as it is for you to have yours, and not be constantly wondering what's going on. That's a real insecurity issue that needs to be addressed really, really quickly before it gets out of hand. Fourth red flag to know that you are in a toxic relationship is that you become their everything, or you become their everything, and you're their everything. And this kind of dovetails nicely off the previous one. If they're stalking or tracking you, the reality is that if all you are doing, if you're in the relationship and you've shut off all your friends just to be with them, or they've shut off all their world to be with you, that is a red flag. You have got to have a sense of independence, even though you're in a relationship. You've got to be able to do your thing, and they've got to do their thing. It's healthy. It's really important, and here's why. See, so many men, when we get into relationships, we do shut down our relationships with our brothers. And then the men that come into our lives typically are the husbands and boyfriends of our wives' girlfriends. See, women really like to nurture their relationships. They're very communal in nature, so they nurture those relationships. But men, we will give up our boys. As soon as we start getting into a relationship, we think we're wired to just go all in. And that's a huge mistake. It is really important that you have a life and she has a life outside of the relationship. So you do not become their everything. You're not glomming on to their world. And that could be very suffocating for each individual. And so that can't be your narrative. Or if you're in a relationship and you're experiencing that from your beloved, that's a conversation that really needs to happen. That what can she do to enjoy life outside of the relationship? And it doesn't mean that it's all the time. No, it's healthy to have these boundaries that say this is my time, this is your time, and this is our time. And that time with the family, time to connect, absolutely. But if it's constant and never ending where you're just surrounded each other and you're just smothering one another, that's not going to work. And that's definitely a red flag. Number 5, red flag number 5 is that you're isolating, trying to isolate you from your friends, poisoning the water, I like to say. Whereas you want to go out with your friends or do something or your family, and your beloved is undermining them in regards to keeping you to herself, or vice versa. So if you're doing any poisoning of the water, that person's not good for you to hang out with, or I don't really like that person, or I don't like how they're showing up, or I remember the last time, and do you really think you should trust them? Or the trouble that they got into, that might happen to you or to us, and I don't want that to happen. And it might be family in nature, where she or he is undermining your family and trying to poison the water there. So really get clear about where these motives are coming from. Now, chances are they may not be happy with their friends or their family, or it comes back to keeping you to herself or himself. However that works, you got to be really mindful of how they start to isolate you from your outside world to keep you to yourself. And number 6, red flag number 6 is manipulation. And this happens in all kinds of ways. They manipulate you for feeling strong, or manipulate you for a number of different areas of your life that keep you feeling insecure about who you are, so that your need to be around them is stronger and stronger. And the manipulation might be backhanded by there's an agenda. It might be a 1 year or 2 year or 3 years out, and then once they've got you, they've got you. And this can be the path of a narcissist as well, and it's psychotic in nature. So really be careful if you feel that they're manipulating you, and it can show up in arguments, it could show up in how they treat you over time. And be careful that your love is genuine for people like this. You've got to really understand that there is not always the best motives of someone being in a relationship. They're users, and you got to be careful that you are not being manipulated and used by someone that you believe has a big heart and you love them. And finally, red flag number 7, self-sabotage. Yeah, you might be in a situation where it's just going fantastic. This is amazing. Best relationship you've had in a long time. And then for some inexplicable reason, the person just absolutely turns and becomes someone else. Or they're very argumentative. They're poking fun, or they're passing blame, or they're just finding fault in pretty much everything that you do. Chances are they've hit a threshold in the relationship where they don't deserve your love. They don't deserve the connection that's in the relationship. And so what ends up happening is, because of their unconscious blueprints, they get to a certain place in the relationship and they all of a sudden self-sabotage all that is right, all that is wonderful in the relationship. And you're left going, what the hell happened? I thought we were good. This was amazing. And now you're just, I don't know who you are. This might be even your story, where you get into something really amazing, and then all of a sudden, for some inexplicable reason, you turn on the relationship. You become an asshole. You become someone that is not great to be around, and you're finding fault, and you're finding ways to mess up this relationship because it is too good. You found someone amazing. or you're doing the grass is greener thing. You're seeing something on the other side and you need to destroy what you've built just so you can check out and go with that person. And self-sabotage can show up as affairs. Self-sabotage can show up as emotional affairs, online, social media. So be mindful of these 7 red flags of a toxic relationship. It is so important because you deserve to be in a great relationship. And in order to avoid the 7 red flags, you've got to be in a great relationship with yourself so that you're solid in who you are, that you're grounded, and you know yourself through and through, that your values and boundaries are transferable. You know yourself so well that this is what you are, this is how you show up, and this is what you expect from someone else. And you can have that powerful conversation so that you're both on the same page. And then as they show up, they can share their values and boundaries, and you can mitigate the damage of any of these red flags and make sure that you're not in a toxic relationship with someone that is toxic and that's poisoning the waters for you and the people you care about. So I hope this was of value to you. If it was, I would love to get you to comment, share what was going on with you. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, hit that subscribe button. I share every week, and it's important that get this word out so that men can step up and play a bigger game. All right, remember, you're not alone on the journey. I've got your back. Have the best day. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.